start my presentation here with a stat that I would be shocked if I'm a job seeker. So right now, um, I believe that most of the markets are thinking of job boards as their main platform or their main strategy to find jobs. So 90% of the market think of it this way, are trying to find jobs through job board applications, like going through the LinkedIn jobs or searching in the career page of a company that I want to join, which is the right track. I'm not saying that it's a wrong track. However, the stats is showing that 97% of job applications through those job boards fail, and the hiring managers and the recruiters usually um, uh, interview 2 to 3% only to the hiring process. So if you think of it this way, then this means that I need to apply a lot to be able to get one interview in my pipeline, right? And again, I'm not saying this is a wrong strategy, but I'm just stating facts that we need to consider the percentage here and see how can we improve our pipeline to be able to get more interviews and more opportunities in our pipeline. Okay. Um, the second part, which is this comparison, which is comparing between job boards with referrals and direct outreach, right? So job boards usually are having the majority of the applications. So a lot of those applications will be maybe unqualified or not matching the criteria of the hiring. So it takes the hiring managers a lot of work to be able to uh, filter those applicants, review them, and find the matching the matching criteria, right? At that channel, you will have a very high competition and a low conversion rate. Uh, versus if I'm going to um, consider like the referrals, my network, direct outreach, usually lower applicants there, but the percentage of hiring or the conversions will be higher in those channels. So referrals usually convert more. And I also see a lot of applicants are not utilizing their network, right? So not utilizing my network, meaning that let's say I'm trying to apply to work in the GCC or trying to apply to work in Canada. A lot of people underutilize their network, and jump right away to apply on job boards. What I usually recommend in these cases is first try to check out your network in the target market, the target industry that you want to join, and reach out to people who are working there and ask for a referral first, because this should be the low hanging fruit, where if you did like a minor efforts, it should get you some quick results or quick opportunities into your pipeline. The second strategy, which we will be talking a lot about it a lot today, is the direct outreach, where reaching out to even to hiring managers or to founders or C-level of companies who didn't yet post for the job opening, which happens a lot, right? If we just reached out on the right time with the right strategy with a proper system, you will end up with some opportunities, and in some cases we see more opportunities by doing it this way than applying through job boards, right? So think of it this way: we have this iceberg, and we have the job boards, which is the most visible um, opportunities, and a lot of people are like applying there. And there is this hidden market where a lot of people are not um, thinking of thinking of the potential of opportunities that are underneath the surface, where referrals and direct outreach are there, and a lot of companies are hiring without even posting on the official hiring channels. I know in some cases, a lot of people might debate that if it's a big company or if it's a corporate, they have to post a job opportunity. I've been working in a corporate for 7 years, and I've seen this happen a lot, that a job position is filled through a referral, but they have to post for the job to make it like an official hiring process, but it's been already filled and so on. So even with some corporates or enterprise, referrals and direct outreach could also work. Okay. Um, Similar to sales and marketing, job hunting is a numbers game. Whether I'm trying to hunt for a full-time job or um, I'm trying to hunt for a freelance gig, or I'm trying to hunt for a consultation project, right? So the more I reach out to, the more opportunities I might get in my pipeline. And again, I've been hearing a lot um, who are debating that, hey, cold outreach is not working, cold emailing is not working, LinkedIn outreach, when I'm trying to reach out to hiring managers, are not responding. And usually when I ask the question, how many attempts did you try? Usually I get an answer that it's like few or tens, not even hundreds. And again, it's a numbers game. I cannot tell how many opportunities you will get from each 100 messages you're going to send. So those numbers that I'm putting in the presentation are just an example. It differs from one industry to another. However, the more you put into, the more effort, the more time you invest in building your pipeline, the more opportunities you will get in your pipeline. So if you're sending tens, like 10 or 20 messages, and gave up very quick in building your pipeline, I believe it's not a problem of the channel. It's not a problem of the process. It's a problem of two things, which is the volume and the system that you are using to build your pipeline, right?
Yeah, but if I can add just one thing, beside the numbers game, you definitely need to have clarity on your goals. Like if you don't have clear goal, clear branding, then your numbers will not make any sense too. So, if you don't have that clarity before you put the system, then definitely that would be hard for people who you are sending to them to know who you are, to know, what they are trying to do to help you or get help from you. So just want to share this because again, sometimes people feel like, oh, I just need to put numbers, but without the clarity, even the numbers will not work.
100%. I agree. I agree. Um, so jumping to the framework, it's pretty much straightforward. It's not a rocket science. It would make perfect sense to anyone who will be seeing those slides. You just mentioned right now that you need to have a target, you need to have a goal and objective. So definitely, if I'm like if I'm working hard on my numbers and like reaching out to thousands, however, I'm like setting a messy goal or an unrealistic goal, it will take me to the wrong destination, right? So defining the target, that's the first thing that we always think of if I'm going to guide anyone on their career. What industry you want to target? What's the job, the role that you want to land on? What companies do you want to target? In some cases, I tell job seekers, hey, try to list down your dream 100 companies, right? So this will be your go-to list that you need to invest all your time to reach out and apply to jobs in those 100 dream list. What I usually see that people are trying to apply on every single opportunity they see might sound relevant to them, uh, without having any kind of strategies, just applying, and this will end up with like irrelevant jobs and irrelevant opportunities. So step number one, make sure to define your ideal target, which industry, which job title, what seniority level you want to target, and preferably, and that will be the greatest, list down the dream companies that you want to join. Okay. Second step, and here we're going um, here we're going to talk a lot about the signals and triggers and consider before reaching out to your company. The third step will be finding the decision makers. So we'll talk about how to find the contact info of the decision makers and how to reach them out. The fourth will be writing a message that relates to them and then converting this into a real conversation and an opportunity. So let's break down each one uh, uh, um, separately. So we already talked about defining the market. So do not up. You must have a clear direction. Do not use generic approach. What you need to do is to target specific roles, specific industry, and preferably, if you can, target specific companies. Okay. Step two, which um, here we're going to talk about the real magic, is if I'm having a list of companies that I want to join, uh, the official way is to apply through their job board. So I will check out their LinkedIn profile and check if they have any kind of job openings at the moment, and apply or go to their careers page and apply there on any relevant opportunities. Okay. The second thing that I would consider is I want to find a signal or a trigger that help me write a message that resonates and relates, and that sounds personalized to the person that I'm reaching out to. So what most people do is they're sending randomly uh, the, the hiring managers or the founders of companies or the top level there, just sending them, hey, I'm in search of just a minute. I'm in search of a job, and if you have any position open for me. That sounds very desperate, and people don't want to hire. Hiring managers do not want to hire desperate job seekers. They want to hire people who are confident, speak positively about themselves, and know what they're doing, and and already have like a target job, and they know what they're applying for, right? So what we need to do is to check out for signals, things like actively hiring. We already talked about that, but we can check out for companies who are having expansions in their headcount, and this could be a trigger for growth, and this could be a trigger for hiring needs. This could be a trigger for stability. This could be a trigger for uh, a need for a specific role inside the company. Just to give you an example, if a company that is growing, right, and they do not have an accounting team or a finance team, this could be a good opportunity for someone to apply as an CFO or a fractional CFO. If a company who does not have an IT manager or director in place, so zero tech team in place, however, the team is expanding in the past quarter or two, 25% or 50%. This could be a trigger that they will need someone who will be taking care of their IT infrastructure, of their cloud architecture, and so on. So think of it this way: any kind of those public available information that are there could work as a signal or trigger to open for you an opportunity to apply to this company. Okay. Another trigger that we can use is funding. If a startup, if you want to target like smaller companies who just got funded, so you can find info about recently funded businesses, and this is a trigger that after the funding they will be actively hiring for the team that will take the growth of the company, right? Um, Another thing that we can also consider, like what kind of technologies this company is using. So let's say if I am an HR or ERP system administrator, I don't know, let's think of it this way. If I'm a system administrator and I specialize in maintaining ERPs systems and building the modules and taking care of things, and I'm specialized in Odoo or SAP or whatever the ERP that I'm specialized in, we can do a search for companies who are using specific technologies and reach out to those companies. So when you reach out to those companies, your skill will be extremely relevant to them. Let's say if I'm a bookkeeper or an accountant, and I specialize in using tools like Zero or or using AI in bookkeeping, right? I can find out what accounting technology they're using, and craft my message around this signal or trigger. So there are plenty of public available data that we can find to build my outreach strategy and make it relevant to what they're looking for, right? So far, does that make sense? I just want to make sure that people are following. So drop thumbs up in the chat if things are clear, and please drop a message with any kind of questions you may have. I'll keep going. I just wanted to make sure, because I'm not seeing my camera, so I'm getting back to you guys. I just want to make sure that you're following. And um, if you have any questions, please drop it there, and we will take care of this by the end of the session. Right. Third step is, how can I get the contact info of the key decision makers, right? And on LinkedIn, it's really, really easy to find who is the director, who is the head, who is the hiring manager, who's taking care of this department, right? By using the LinkedIn filters. And I believe LinkedIn have those premium features where you can upgrade to the job seeker premium account, where you can like do the filters and like see who's taking care of those departments, right? But a lot of people do not know that there are those available tools that can get you the work email of that key decision maker. So you can reach this key decision maker via LinkedIn. So this is one channel that you can do, or you can reach them through work email, or even you can get their phone number and reach them. Like what the sales guys are doing. So um, I'm just sharing that to tell you guys that the info is there. It's just we do not know how to get it. There are tools that can help you get the contact info of 70 or 80% of people who are on LinkedIn. We just do not scrape data from social media platforms like LinkedIn, or socially monitor a profile or research a profile using your ChatGPT APIs. So let's give an example here. I am targeting Neil, right? I want to apply to work in his company, and I believe that Neil's department uh, might have some hiring needs using my skills. Okay, so what I can do is pulling data of people like Neil, right, and doing the enrichment using Clay. So what I did, I'm just going to show you the spreadsheet here. Um, Okay, here we go. Here's the magic. So we have the profiles of everyone who is in the event. So we have it there in a sheet. I can export it as a CSV. We have their name, we have their job titles, we have their location, and we can do more enrichment, getting info like their LinkedIn summary. We can pull their headline of their LinkedIn profile, um, and so on. We can also pull public information like certificates that they have, like a project management professional or Huawei certified specialist, and so on. So we have a lot of public information here about you guys, and so this is a list of you guys. So your name is in that list, right? Um, what I did is just playing around this table, and I used AI to check out your profiles. So we can use AI to help us research on a lead. And I wrote this prompt, right? That, hey, you are an AI web scraper. Please check out this person's job summary and headline, and the output to let me know what should be their next job post, or what their job their next job role, right? What kind of industries they should join. Okay, so what AI did, actually, that's ChatGPT. It did the recommendation that, hey, this guy next job should be a vice president of sales. Okay, here this guy will be a technical director, and those are the industries that he can join in, right? I'm just showing you this to give you some idea on the capabilities of AI of doing research across hundred or thousands of profiles in no time. You can do it through tools like Clay. You can just connect your ChatGPT, OpenAI APIs into ChatGPT and ask the AI to do the research on the lead that you want to target, right? So in my case, let's say I want to research about Neil. I want to know what kind of certificates he have, if he had any kind of testimonials, reviews from people on LinkedIn, and so on. So it can be done through tools like Clay, and it can get you the information and arrange it in a table like this, and then you can use it in your outreach efforts. You can reach out to uh, 10 lookalike like Neil and reach them out with a very relevant message that, hey, I saw that you just acquired your PMI certificate. Something like that would make the message sound less generic and more personalized. Okay. Um, so there are plenty of tools. I would highly recommend tools like Apollo to get the contact info of a key decision maker you want to target, whether email or mobile phone number. If you couldn't find it on Apollo, Clay also can help with that. With Clay, you can create your AI agent who can do a research on your next hiring employer, whether on a company level or on a person level. So we can ask AI to go do some research about the company and check out what kind of technologies they're using. So if they're using the ERP that I'm skilled in, so I would consider that company as a qualified lead that I should reach out to, and I can reach them out and tell them, hey, I noticed that you're using Odoo as an ERP, and I also noticed that you do not have an internal resource who's handling like the maintenance of Odoo, and I can take care of that. Something like that would make the message would sound extremely relevant, because I'm not just sending anyone, I'm just sending companies who are using Odoo, right? Same thing applies for other kind of skill sets like DevOps, Kubernetes, AWS. I know most of the audience of Ahmed are like IT or tech guys, so you can use those keywords to find companies who are using Kubernetes, and if I'm skilled at that, I can like reach them out. Maybe if I'm an AWS certified expert, I can find companies who are hosting on AWS and reach them out and just sending them a message that, hey, I noticed that you guys are hosting on AWS. I can help you reduce your AWS bills by 20%. If you can just give me some of your time, I just need to do the audit. If I help, I can like just do your ask. I believe you guys got my point, right? The fourth part of the framework is writing a message that gets response, right? Uh, Early in that in our session, I mentioned that do not sound desperate, and I'm receiving a lot of those messages that, hey, I'm looking for a job, and if you have something for me. This will sound very, very demeaning for the person who's sending, and usually hiring managers will not appreciate that approach. However, if the tone was more confident and conversational and adding value to the person that you're speaking with, it will open up an opportunity for a conversation. So I'm just giving you an example here. Let's consider I'm reaching out to a company who have a job opening now for an AWS specialist. Okay, if I reach them out that, hey, I saw that you're hiring for an AWS engineer, right, and then move the conversation towards something about my skills, linking that together, and then ask for whether if we can have a call, or um, if I already applied and I'm asking for what could be the next steps and so on. Some hiring managers would respond. Some hiring managers will be spammed with a lot of those messages and will not appreciate the outreach. But anyways, it won't harm reaching out to someone, because by the end of the day, this hiring manager do not know you, right, and will not remember you. Okay, so just do the outreach. That's my input here. The second part, which is maybe mentioning something about if they do not have a job opening uh, in their pipeline, we can talk about, I've noticed that you guys recently secured the fund, or we can also mention something that, hey, I noticed the headcount growth rate in your company in the past uh, quarter or so, and link your skills with the growth that's going to happen, and then talk about, you know, offering my skills to the company. I've seen also some people are offering 1 week of a free work to try their skills, um, or offering something crazy like, hey, I can help you reduce your AWS invoices, right? Just let's do a free audit. If things went well, I would invite myself to apply or to be part of your team, right? Um, Another angle that's also some people are doing is engaging with hiring managers content. I mean, a lot of hiring managers or founders are active on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and they're sharing their ideas as a thought leader, right? So you can send a message that, hey, I saw this video or that podcast, and just share your thought about what they um, talked about, and then link that to your skill and your ask uh, later in the conversation. We just want to build something to build trust between you and the hiring manager, or the person that you're trying to apply at. And once you have that trust, or once you have that response and the conversation going on, you can shift the conversation into like, I would appreciate if you have an opening, or if you can connect me with the hiring manager of that department. I would love to ask about questions and see what are the current or future job openings that might fit into my skills, right? Um, so what I always recommend, start with the context, show them why you're reaching out, how did you find them, why are you reaching out, keep it short, and keep it conversational and keep it mostly about them. Um, Early on in the conversation, when I want to build trust with someone, I wouldn't talk a lot about myself. I would talk about them first to get their trust. So talk more about them, talk less about yourself and about your skills, right? Um, Again, that's the reason why a lot of people say that cold outreach or cold emails or like LinkedIn outreach with hiring managers are not working, mainly because it's either you're sending to the wrong person, you're sending generic messages, or having no clear value, or the message is extremely long. You're just dumping your CV in the first message, whether in the email or on LinkedIn, and it's too early, right? Or I also seen that a lot of people are not doing follow-ups. Like the founder or the hiring manager is a busy person. Sometimes they might be interested in your profile, but when you send them a message, they were just busy at that time. Maybe just doing a follow-up will remind them with your profile, right? So it's not the outreach. The problem is not in the outreach or in the email or in LinkedIn as a channel. It's how we're using it, right? Um, Again, I also talked about this, so I won't repeat it. Just not do not do the desperate approach. Try to be valuable. Try to be conversational in your narratives. Okay. Um, Here's an example for a bad message and a good message. Bad message: I'm looking for an internship or a job in your company. I recently graduated. I'm very passionate. I'm a hard worker. So those kind of words are mostly shared from desperate job seekers, usually generic, usually sent to anyone. However, a good message is I'm talking about a trigger, whether I saw your current job opening or I saw you're using this technology, and linking that to my skills, show some um, like positive talk about yourself, and ending with an ask that usually a conversational and a question, like, so a question usually open conversations. When they respond, we can like exchange some like messages and then move the conversation to my ask that, hey, if you can connect me with the hiring manager, or if you have a current job opening or whatsoever. Okay. One last thing before like leaving the space for you guys to ask your questions is the really good news in 2026 is we can automate my outreach efforts. You just need to build your strategy. You need to set your target. You need to build a list that have your dream employer and your dream hiring manager. Build a list of hundreds of those guys look alike, having similar industry, having similar job title, having similar triggers or signals, and send them this message at, on automation. So you can send on LinkedIn, let's say on LinkedIn, there is this tool that I'm using called Dripify. It's great. It will build you an agent who will be sending a LinkedIn connection and then a follow-up message. And then if the lead didn't respond, you can automate liking a post or commenting on a post of that lead. And keeping it that way will save you a lot of time and will overcome, the objection that I'm always hearing that, hey, cold outreach is not working. It will work if you did enough outreach, right? So using tool like Hey Reach or Grapify would be a great tool. I'm using also for emails tools like SmartLead and Instantly and Limlist. There are plenty of email automation tools where also you can upload a list of hiring managers that you want to apply to work with. Send a message that's really short, that really sounds valuable and conversational. Just do not just like dump your CV